Today on the BWI Daily Edition, I'm not going to follow the rules. I'm T. Frank, and today we're talking about an article over at Blue White Illustrated, and I thought this was a really fun topic for a Friday. Greg Pickel wrote an article and asked the other guys their opinions, better or worse, the linebackers in 2021. He said, don't overthink it. And I said, Greg, I don't really follow rules like that very well. What I do is overthinking. So if you want to read their article, which will be, it's a great read, and it's really fun because it gives you the introspection into kind of what we're going to talk about here, bwi.rivals.com. Make sure you subscribe there, and you can get all the great content because we've ramped up our coverage for 2021. Also, Preview Magazine is out, so you want to make sure that you order yours today to get it in time for fall camp. Okay, better or worse to me, in what aspect? And that's the biggest question is, what do you want your linebackers to be? Because it's a position that has to be everything. If you're a nose tackle, you don't have to be a great pass rusher. If you're a corner, you can kind of opt out of run defense and still be a good player. If you're a defensive end, same thing. You can be a pass rushing specialist. If you're a linebacker and you're on the field for most of the plays, you've got to be good at everything. You've got to be a good tackler. You've got to be a good coverage player. You've got to be able to play man and zone in pass coverage. And the problem for Penn State last year is they weren't good at any of those things. They didn't have an identity. And I think that comes down to what I want to talk about today is I've been thinking a lot about how you should build your linebacking core. And Penn State is at the recruiting phase and the position where they can go after guys like Kobe King that are good at both, that are physical run defenders, that are smart, that are good coverage players, and have great potential. But, and this is my point here, your overall linebacker personality. Penn State has been better in years when they have had an identity at linebacker. Tough, downhill Jan Johnsons that stop the run. Maybe they'll struggle in coverage, but they'll get you to 3rd and 8. Last year, Penn State couldn't do that. They did not have guys that were disciplined in their gap responsibilities in the run game, and when they were, they had guys that couldn't bring the ball carrier down. That's the biggest problem, not to single anybody out individually, but Lance Dixon struggled to tackle the ball carrier. At 210 pounds playing will linebacker, that makes sense. He's no longer with the program, and now they have to figure out what they're going to do at the linebacking position. It feels this year like they're going to fit better, but is the identity of having a tough, physical, downhill thumper in Brandon Smith in the box going to give them that identity? And I've been thinking about this linebacker position and how I build it. I think that's what they need to get back to. And I know, from me, that's crazy because I think the passing game is more important. You need to be better in coverage so that you can stop teams. But I'm beginning to think that you really can't unless you have genuinely special athletes at the linebacker position. You're better off finding those downhill thumpers that can get you to 3rd and 7, and then you roll the dice. You get your best coverage players, you go nickel, and you get the offense into a bad situation. I think that's the formula. And I do think that Penn State has the ability to get there with Ellis Brooks, who can be a smart downhill player and is a good tackler as long as he's not overthinking things like Greg told me not to. So I understand Ellis. Same boat. Brandon Smith brings all of that thunder into the box this year, and if you want to be good in coverage, they do have a linebacker this year that can do that in Curtis Jacobs. So the potential is all there, but does the identity coalesce into being that tough physical front? Because if it doesn't, and they continue to struggle with the mental aspect of being where they're supposed to be on time, these issues will continue to persist. So if they're better run defenders in 2021, but they're relatively the same in other areas, I think that's an improvement, and I think that should be what the Penn State defense focuses on going forward. That's how I'd build my defense. What do you think? Leave a comment below on how you would build your linebacking core, and of course, subscribe here to our YouTube channel for the BWI Daily, T. Frank's Film Room, our recruiting podcasts, and more to come. This has been the BWI Daily Edition. I'm Thomas Frank Carr.